I think I'm gonna end up doing a podcast because there's not a whole lot going on in my genre in the podcast world. I mean, I know some guys are doing it and they're doing well, but I've never been allowed to before. So you got to realize that when I signed my deal with Disco was almost 10 years ago.
It's official. Richard Rawlings has finally broken his silence, and what he's revealed about Gas Monkey Garage will leave you speechless. After years of keeping quiet about the toxic drama behind the cameras, the Fast and Loud mogul just dropped a nuclear-level expose that's sending shockwaves through the automotive world. We're not talking about your typical workplace disputes here. This is about betrayal so devastating that they nearly destroyed one of television's most iconic garages. 5 names have emerged from Richard's personal blacklist, and the stories behind each departure are more explosive than anyone imagined. Nobody knew what to make of it when these beloved faces started vanishing from our screens one by one. Fans demanded answers, but Richard stayed silent. Until now. Sources close to the Gas Monkey empire confirm this isn't just about creative differences or contract negotiations. This is about loyalty shattered, trust obliterated, and relationships that turn toxic under the pressure of fame and fortune. The automotive industry is holding its breath because when Richard Rawlings speaks, people listen. And what he's saying about these 5 former employees is about to rewrite everything we thought we knew about the Fast and Loud dynasty. Let's rewind a bit. Gas Monkey Garage wasn't built overnight. It was forged in the fires of Richard Rawlings' relentless ambition, where roaring engines met bold dreams and nonstop hustle. But as Richard later admitted in devastating honesty, the cars were often easier to handle than the people working beside me. Behind the glossy television facade, Gas Monkey operated like a high-pressure cooker. Every build was a race against impossible deadlines, filmed for millions of viewers who expected perfection. Richard pushed his team harder than most could handle because he understood something his employees didn't. Falling behind meant losing everything. The garage became a proving ground where only the strongest survived. Richard's philosophy was simple but brutal. You can't run a business on feelings. There are rules, and when you break them, there are consequences. That mindset created television gold, but it also created enemies. What fans saw on Fast and Loud was carefully edited magic. The laughter, the camaraderie, the triumphant moments when another impossible build rolled across the auction block. What they didn't see were the battles that nearly tore the team apart from the inside. The screaming matches, the walkouts, the betrayals that left Richard questioning everyone around him. Sources familiar with the Gas Monkey operation reveal that Richard kept detailed mental notes about every employee who disappointed him, not just their work performance, but their loyalty, their attitude, their ability to handle the pressure that came with being part of his empire.
It's been a pretty fantastic journey, and I started kind of had a few different phases in life, so I didn't get into the Gas Monkey until 20 years ago.
Richard never forgot anything, one former insider claims. He remembered every slight, every moment someone chose themselves over the team. That's how he built his list of the worst employees. The 5 names that emerge from this list represent more than just workplace drama. They symbolize the cost of chasing fame in an industry where loyalty is currency and betrayal is unforgivable. Each departure left scars on Richard's empire, forcing him to rebuild not just his team, but his trust in the people around him. These weren't random firings or mutual partings. These were calculated decisions by a man who valued loyalty above talent, dedication above skill. And now, for the first time, Richard is ready to tell the world exactly why these 5 names made his personal blacklist. But here's where it gets even darker. The first name on Richard's list isn't who you'd expect. Aaron Kaufman, the bearded mechanical genius who fans considered the heart and soul of Gas Monkey Garage, tops Richard's roster of worst employees. And the reason will blow your mind. Working with Aaron was like trying to put a square peg in a round hole, Richard revealed in explosive detail. But man, when it fit, it was magic. That magic, however, came at a devastating cost that nearly destroyed the entire operation. Sources close to the situation reveal that Aaron's perfectionist tendencies weren't just creative differences. They were production nightmares that cost the garage hundreds of thousands of dollars in missed deadlines and blown opportunities. While Richard pushed for results that kept cameras rolling and sponsors happy, Aaron pushed back with demands for quality that brought everything to a grinding halt. "You can't rush art," Aaron famously said during one heated confrontation. But what fans didn't realize was that this wasn't just about artistic integrity. This was about a fundamental clash between two visions that were tearing Gas Monkey apart from the inside. The breaking point came during a high-stakes build that had major network executives breathing down Richard's neck. Aaron's refusal to compromise on his timeline reportedly caused a domino effect of delays that jeopardized multiple projects. The financial impact was catastrophic, but the personal betrayal cut even deeper. Here's where you need to hit that hype button and show this video some love. This story gets so much wilder, and your support helps us bring you the most explosive, behind-the-scenes content that other channels won't dare touch. Trust me, what's coming next will leave you speechless. It was like losing my right hand, Richard confessed about Aaron's eventual departure. But insiders reveal the truth was more complex. Aaron didn't just leave. He was pushed out by a man who could no longer tolerate what he saw as disloyalty disguised as artistic vision. The aftermath was nuclear. Fans were devastated, ratings took a hit, and Richard was left scrambling to rebuild the very foundation of his empire. But that was just the beginning. Aaron's exit opened the floodgates for a series of departures that would test Richard's resolve like never before. What made Aaron's betrayal particularly devastating wasn't just the professional impact. It was personal. Richard had trusted Aaron like a brother, only to watch him prioritize his own creative satisfaction over the team's survival. Then came the nuclear moment that changed everything. Tom Smith and Jordan Butler, two mechanics who seemed destined for Gas Monkey greatness, committed what Richard considers the ultimate act of disrespect. And it involved a fan with cystic fibrosis and Richard's prized Rolls-Royce. The incident that destroyed their careers happened in 2014, but the details are only now coming to light. According to multiple sources familiar with the situation, a devoted fan with a terminal illness asked for a simple photo opportunity near Richard's most treasured possession. Tom and Jordan, thinking they were being compassionate, allowed the fan access without permission. That Rolls-Royce was one of his most prized possessions, an insider reveals. When Richard found out, he was furious. But it wasn't just about the car, it was about boundaries, respect, and following the chain of command. What happened next became legendary among Gas Monkey employees. The confrontation was so explosive that it could be heard throughout the entire garage. Tom, never one to back down, reportedly cursed at Richard during the heated exchange. That single moment of defiance sealed both their fates. "You can't give someone your trust if they don't give you respect," Richard later explained. The firing was immediate and brutal. Both men were escorted out that same day.
That is the only job I've ever gotten fired from. And the reasoning I got fired from, not really a good one. If it was a good one, I wouldn't be all upset about it. But for calling your boss, there's no reason to get fired for that.
Their Gas Monkey careers ending in spectacular fashion. But the betrayal didn't stop there. Tom and Jordan's next move was what really pushed them to the top of Richard's worst employees list. They created Misfit Garage, a direct competitor that used everything they'd learned at Gas Monkey to build their own empire. They thought they could build their own empire, Richard said with barely contained anger. But Gas Monkey was more than just a name. It was blood, sweat, and years of sacrifice. The creation of Misfit Garage felt like the ultimate betrayal. Former employees using insider knowledge to compete against the man who'd given them their start. Sources reveal that Richard took the competition personally. Seeing his former crew members on television, using techniques and approaches they'd learned under his roof, was a sting that never fully healed. The legal battles that followed were kept quiet, but insiders claim Richard considered it industrial espionage disguised as entrepreneurship. The ripple effects were immediate and devastating. Projects that Tom and Jordan had been working on were left unfinished, leaving fans with unanswered questions about builds that simply vanished from the show. This isn't just about workplace drama anymore. What Richard's revelations expose is a systematic pattern of betrayal that goes to the heart of reality television's dark underbelly. The pressure to create compelling content while maintaining authentic relationships proved impossible for Gas Monkey Garage, and the casualties were devastating. Scott McMillan Jr., Aaron's high school friend who seemed like a natural fit for the Gas Monkey family, became the third name on Richard's blacklist. His crime, ambition that exceeded loyalty. Sources reveal that Scott's departure to join Misfit Garage wasn't just about creative opportunities. It was about using his insider knowledge to compete directly against Richard. Scott took what he had learned inside Gas Monkey and used it to compete from the outside, one former employee reveals. That move crossed a line that Richard could never forgive. The betrayal was particularly painful because Scott had been brought in through Aaron, making it feel like a double betrayal. Charles Cimino, known to fans as Sleeveless, represents a different kind of disappointment. His silent departure to Arizona without warning left Richard scrambling to cover essential electrical work on multiple projects. In a shop that ran on schedules and deadlines, losing a key member without warning can throw everything off, sources explain. But perhaps the most heartbreaking betrayal came from Casey Matthew, the painter whose work had defined the visual identity of Gas Monkey builds. Casey's decision to leave at the height of the show's success felt like abandonment to Richard. Gas Monkey was at its peak, and losing the painter who had become synonymous with its success felt like losing part of the garage's soul, insiders reveal. The pattern that emerges from these 5 departures is chilling. Each person who made Richard's worst employees list had been trusted with insider access to his empire. Each had been given opportunities that launched their careers, and each had chosen personal ambition over loyalty when the pressure mounted. The automotive industry has taken notice. Other shop owners now speak in hushed tones about the Gas Monkey curse, the idea that success breeds betrayal. Richard's experience has become a cautionary tale about the cost of mixing business with brotherhood. The cultural impact extends beyond automotive television. Richard's story has become a case study in how reality TV pressure can destroy genuine relationships, turning friends into competitors and mentors into enemies. The silence from Richard's former employees speaks volumes. None of the 5 have publicly responded to being named on his worst employees list, but sources close to the situation reveal that legal teams are involved. The implications go far beyond hurt feelings. Word on the street suggests that Richard isn't done talking. Insiders claim he's considering a tell-all book that would expose even more shocking details about the betrayals that nearly destroyed his empire. Richard kept detailed records of everything, one source reveals. If he decides to go public with all of it, the automotive television world will never be the same. The stakes couldn't be higher. Gas Monkey Garage continues to operate, but the scars from these betrayals run deep. Richard has rebuilt his team, but the trust that once defined the garage's culture may be gone forever. What's coming next could reshape how we view reality television relationships. Are they genuine partnerships or carefully constructed illusions? Richard Rawlings has the answers, and he's finally ready to share them. The automotive world is watching, waiting to see if Richard will drop even more explosive revelations. Because if these 5 names are just the beginning, the full story could bring down more than just reputations.